Hey everyone, I'm here to do a quick update on the current state of QuakeTemplate, and this time I'm going to give you the dirt. I'm going to give you the meat. The uh, I've entangled my analogies and I've arrived at dirt meat. Okay, well anyway, I'm actually going to try and keep this shit condensed. No more 40 fucking minute videos. Okay, current state of QuakeTemplate. So the first thing is, I tried to fix the HUD. Uh, there were just some like really basic errors, and in the process, I've kind of arrived at the conclusion that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with the HUD because nothing, nothing is working. The HUD is like it goes from event begin play, right? And I check to see if it's valid or not, and if it's not valid, then I turn it into I create the widget for the HUD and assign it to this, and then add it to the viewport, right? Simple, right? Well, and this is all happening in the player controller. From event begin play. Well, the HUD loads, right? But when I escape out, it goes here. It says access none. It's accessing none. Anyone know how to fix that? And also too, so on top of that, so I've gone with, instead of event begin play, is event uh, when the object is possessed, right? So when it's possessed, I grab the player controller, I assign that to a variable or player controller reference variable, and I do this for both the character and the spectator, right? And near the end, after I go through all the motions of giving like the player controller inventory and make sure that the player controller knows what the character is, and I do all, I'm setting all that stuff up. At the very end, all I do is I grab the player controller reference, get the HUD, and go spectator HUD, right? So it's like activate spectator HUD if you're a spectator. So whenever you possess a spectator, you automatically get the HUD. It just seems like a really logical way to do it, and it's very simple. It should work, right? Well, um, here's the here's the two things that are being run. So activate spectator HUD, and it hides the combat HUD basically, and it draws a spectator HUD, and then it makes sure that it updates and uh, it updates the character so you can get all the stats and everything like that for whatever changes on the character. Okay, and it's the same thing with this. I hide the spectator stuff and I do the combat HUD, and I make sure that I grab the QTP character and all that. Okay, seems straightforward, except nothing I do works. I'm not sure what's causing it, but whenever I do this, it just freaks out. And it says that this is a null. It says that add to viewport is a null. Like, how is this a null? It's not. I just assigned it this. How could how could this variable be a null? I just don't get it. Like, maybe uh so you can't see the player health or anything like that right now. If anyone has advice on this one, I don't know. With all that said, I went through and I have actually fully hooked up all of the things for the projectiles. They deal damage. They do everything. The guns fire at the correct firing rate. Uh, Everything's hooked up except grenades bouncing. And I've tried all kinds of stuff, and I am just bad at this. And um, I could probably try to mess with it a little bit more, but I'm really tired. This the I should have probably started off by mentioning the current state of the overall state of Quake Template is that if I can overcome basically these problems that I'm describing in this video, then I'll be ready to release it. Okay, everything is pretty much ready for an alpha release. We'll be only missing like placeholder assets for like armor, weapons. Actually, I might even do weapon models. I'm just gonna have icons. I'm gonna have an icon on the bottom of the screen that shows you what weapon. I want to have sounds, and I want to have pickup models, and a character model that that is basically just representative of the collision that the player will have, but is good enough that you can see what direction the player is standing. Well, anyway, uh, currently right now grenades aren't bouncing. Um, and I do have one last detail as far as hooking up the explosions, which is pretty straightforward. There's nothing in here for explosions, but basically the I just grab the radius, the explosion radius, and gather anybody who's in it, and then do a trace from the center of the explosion. And anybody who's on that list will then take the explosion damage, probably do a little bit more to it. Quake 1 did random damage depending on certain things, like you could take a certain amount of damage from a rocket that was randomized. I'm not doing that. I'm probably just going to keep the numbers pretty straightforward, and I will be doing floating damage text. I'll probably try to mimic what we see in Doom 4. Maybe something a little bit simpler, because in Doom 4 it looks like the numbers just go up and down, up and down. I kind of want to just see like a big number and maybe like little numbers come up for like health replenishing and stuff like that. Uh, Once I figure out how to get these grenades bouncing and figure out how to get the HUD back, I thought I understood the HUD. I think, and of course the explosions. I think this is like pretty clear. Now there's a big mess of stuff, but what I'll do is a video where all I'm doing is just commenting, putting comments in, and describing step by step each thing, and that'll probably end up being a long video. I'm not doing a long video right now. I'm just talking about the current state of things. Uh, and that's really it. I have a death state for the players currently right now. Let me make sure that I unhooked anything that's just not working. Yeah, I don't get this. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so if I do if like an is valid, right? Is if it's valid, then add to viewport, and that gets rid of the error. Whoever's watching this, please, like, if you know what the hell is causing this. So the error is gone, and I'm running it in multiplayer, and at least part of the HUD is working. Like you can see the health and stuff like that for like the respawn time on health and on the mega health, and the other such pickups. So like if I grab the rocket launcher, you'll see this is grenade, right? You see that's a grenade launcher. I need icons. You'll see the icons actually. Everything looks like crosshairs right now. So here's all the guns. Super shotgun. Uh, Here's the nail gun. I feel like the frame rate is tanking for some reason. Oh yeah, recording like destroys the frame rate. Wait for those things to respawn. Alright, super nail gun. And grenade launcher fires an arc. Because of my wonderful math, we're seeing explosions in the air right now. And the rocket launcher is like this. Okay. And also keep in mind too, like I'm not having any of the standard projectile problems that Unreal tries to just force down your throat when you do the regular template. And I have the lightning gun, which you can't see the effect, but limited range, does about 30 damage a piece. Now you see up in the upper left side, you can see the fact that I'm doing damage to this player. And when his health reaches 0, you'll notice that he goes back into spectator mode. It doesn't. So with that said, it actually kind of gave me an idea. What if while you're in spectator mode and you're trying to spawn, you can see where all the spawn points are, and you can actually, like, whenever you die, you just become the spectator again real quick, and then you float around and you look for the spot where you want to spawn, and then you immediately just spawn. Like you just fly right over and press left mouse button while you're like right next to it or something, and you spawn there. That might actually be kind of an interesting way. Like you can like float up and kind of see where he's going or what he's doing, and then choose a spot to spawn that's strategically advantageous to you. Could be kind of interesting, and it wouldn't be too hard to set up. So I might actually do that. But well, that's pretty much the state of things. One thing that is kind of neat to do is to look at the actual traces of the weapons, and what'll be nice is so that's the grenade. Right, here's axe. Axe spawns a weird sort of capsule. See how that hit though? Whenever you see one of these little red circles, that means it was an impact. It's an impact indicator. So like, this is me swinging my axe, and of course, you probably that's the lightning gun. See, need something to represent it. But that's pretty much it. Okay, that's the state of things right now, and the problems that are left are really dumb. If anyone has any information to help out with that, please. Like, why in the hell is the HUD giving me so much trouble? Okay, with all that said, stay tuned for more, and I want to have a release of this weekend. Like, I want people looking at this and pulling it apart and telling me and messing around with it this weekend, if I can. Like, it's pretty much ready, as far as I can tell, aside from these really stupid problems that have just cropped up, and I don't know how to solve them. And I don't know why, because they're stupid and simple. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more.